Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 277D US26. This is a privacy door guard. This is like the modern version of door guards that you see on hotel doors, is what it is. Fairly ubiquitous nowadays, very common. I don't spend a lot of time in hotels because I don't travel much for work. But I can tell you those times when I'm in them, I will very often see them, especially in hotels that are modern, current. If I'm staying at a hotel that was built in the 1930s, they're not going to have these. But if I'm going to stay at a hotel built in 2016, it's probably going to have these. So the 277D, got a nice color, Hager. Nice. This is polished chrome. This has got a decent finish to it. I do have a problem sometimes with some of Hager's finishes. They're dark bronze on aluminum. They're anodized finish. I don't always love. But this is good. This is a polished chrome. This is available in different finishes, and let's just tackle that first. US 10B for oil rubbed bronze. This is the US 26 for polished chrome. US 26D for satin chrome. US 3 for polished brass, and US 4 for satin brass. Okay, let's go over some dimensional properties. They've got a base dimension of 2 5/8 on the height, and then 1 9/16 on the width. Okay, a projection of 2 3/16. Yeah, I'd say that'd be spot on. That'll be the case regardless. I would prefer that the factory had these. There are rubber mutes that are here, so when you close that, you don't really hear it. They're actually through the device here and here to mute the action of this opening and closing. I would certainly prefer to have them here as well, so that the door, when hitting it, doesn't mark that over time, which is what would be the case. Just my critique of this item. Critique notwithstanding, this is fire rated. This is compliant with ADA requirements. Now, there is a link below this video, a couple of links. First of all, let's look at the product catalog. Then we're going to get into the installation of the item. And the 277D is in the trim and auxiliary section of miscellaneous pieces of hardware from Hager, and you can see the 274, which of course is the most common version, and those shims and the protection plate, the L-shaped protection plate, go to the 274, but when you're dealing with just the more modern 277, that's all that there really is to this item. Okay. Now, the second link, installation instructions, and let's tackle that next. They will be included with your hardware, but they are linked to down below so that you can review along in this video as well. Tools required: a drill bit, a tap, a screwdriver, and a drill. Shows what the lock looks like in the open and closed position. That's the open position, or the locked position, or the privacy function position. And if you've not ever seen these before, this portion will mount to the frame, to the jamb face. When you enter the room in this sort of scenario, okay, the door will be in this sort of orientation. My arm is representative of the door, and I'm in this pocket area. I'm in this rabbited area here of the frame. But when I throw that, and someone goes to open the door, it will only go that far. Obviously non-handed, completely reversible. The drill bit and the tap, well, the drill bit and the tap are going to be used to drill and tap the holes. And yeah, it would be certainly advisable that the frame was ordered reinforced for this material. And looking at the installation, it appears to be 1224. Determine the mounting height on the door. Recommended 10 to 12 inch above the interior lever. and that will certainly put you in an ADA compliant height. Place the latch on the frame so that the bracket is offset from the frame 1/16 of an inch. So basically, when you mount this to keep it in the same orientation where the door was here, from where the door is going to reside, the frame rabbet, just scooch this in 1/16. That's all you do. Make sure that it's plumb. Mark your 3 holes with a center punch, is what they say. Once you've got it located height-wise and 1/16 in, you can mark the holes. Once the latch is in the desired position, step number 3, on the frame face, mark the 3 holes for drilling, figure 1. Okay, it's going to look like figure 1 when we're done. Center punch and drill 3 5/32 holes. Use the sheet metal screws that are there. And that's going to work out fine. You've got long sheet metal screws that are there. Install the 3 screws to secure the device. Check to make sure that the swing arm rotates to the closed position when the door swings completely closed, meaning verify that where you install this on the jamb is 1/16 over and you still have complete proper door operation. If you push it over too far, the door might hit it as you open. I've never seen that sort of problem. Make sure that it works, meaning make sure that the door can open without trouble. Also verify that the door will open without issue when the swing arm is in the closed position. So test it in both scenarios. I was addressing the first one first. Test it in the open and closed position. Check to make sure that the arm rotates, everything swings clear. Frame reinforcement is recommended when installing on a timely frame, meaning a very thin gauge steel frame that's intended for hotel motel applications where you cannot tap because the wall thickness of the steel is far insufficient. There's going to need to be a bracket that would be supplied by the frame manufacturer. This device is equipped with the 1224 screws if you're going to tap. I'm searching the internet for the size required to tap a 1224 thread, and let's take a look at that. That's easy to locate. Did I say easy? Okay, so a 1224 is National Course, NC. 5/32 would be okay. It wouldn't be the best one. You would really want a number 16. Wire size drill bits are far more precise when it comes to incremental measuring. A 16 is the proper size, but the direct 64th correlation would be an 11/64th, which is incredibly close to the 5/32 that they're saying use. I think that they should change the installation instructions and say, if you're doing a 1224, use a number 11, use a 16. In absence of that, use an 11/64ths to drill the hole prior to tapping. Because if you've got a hole that would be too small, like a 5/32 would technically be a 64th of an inch too small, that tap, you run the risk of it breaking in the hole. I would get the right size before I did any of that. Removing a broken tap from a hole is arduous at best. Be very careful as you're threading the tap. If you start to twist it all, that's where you're going too far. And I would, in my experience, get the best quality tap that you can. Lower caliber taps cannot handle any sort of force beyond what they're supposed to be cutting. Anyway, back to the 277. The rest of the installation instructions, what we've not covered, do indicate that you need 1/8 of an inch between the rabbet of the frame and the door edge. If you have less than that, you run the risk of the door making contact with the unit when you're going to the open position. If your door is beveled, you're not going to have that problem, because a normal pre-fit would be 3/32 of an inch a little tighter than 1/8 of an inch. You're not going to have that trouble on a beveled edge door. On a square edge door, you technically might. So you might want to hold that on your frame and then operate it at a 1/16 of an inch. Make sure you've got clearance. Then mark your holes. We don't need to overthink this. It's not really a big deal. You just need to make sure it works correctly. Now, finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. I'm partial to Hager from the perspective that as a distributor, and not that I don't, at this time at least, behave in this context, but as a distributor, a benefit is Hager can sell you practically everything for the opening, from the hinges to the door closers to the lock sets to the exit devices to the weather stripping, and then all of the trim and auxiliary, everything but the door and frame itself. That's advantageous if you believe in the Hager product line and want to solely source everything from Hager. You can do that. The benefit is that they are a comprehensive solution provider, and that is of benefit. I know Hager as a hinge company. That's what I think of Hager first, and Roton continuous hinges as well. Their technical support department, their customer service department, these are all good people that do, on average, a very good job. There would be no reason why I would not suggest that you use the Hager 277D. It's a handsome product. Hager enjoys substantial industry-wide acceptance, familiarity with the product line. So if you're selling something and you want to use Hager for whatever reason, you should be able to submit that and have acceptance, etc. If you have any questions on the Hager 277D privacy set in a US26 or any other finish, naturally, or any other Hager product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.